And these cool fuel modules for the Mercruiser, they're always slick here. So you have to open this hole to a 1/2 inch so you can use a 1/2 inch NPT here. You cannot use any drill. So this is what I bought, a reamer. So I already started, and I did this just by hand. You can see there. So it's kind of easy. I'm just going to put it now on the drill and do it with the drill. You know, you have to be careful because there is not a whole lot of meat here. You can't really go all the way back. You know, you have to kind of be careful because there is a so there's like a stop back there. That's why you can't do this with a regular drill. Okay, and that is pretty much it. It's almost all the way back. You can see there, and we don't really need to go too crazy on it, just because there's really not a lot of meat here. And also I'm going to be using MPT thread, so basically the further I go back in the threads, the narrower it will be. So I will probably you never really have to go super deep, but here you can see it's all the way, it's all the way in there. So I have to do the one on the bottom there. Take your time, don't rush it, because these pieces are like $400. So you really want to like be easy. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty much all the way back. So I'm happy with that. That is a pretty big tab. Just make sure it's centered the best you can. And go for it. Okay, as you can see, I already have put one in there. Everything is nice and threaded. Pretty good. I already have put one. What I'm using is liquid Teflon tape. So something like this. What a lot of people do, they do a plastic fitting like this, put it in there, and then they use bar fittings, you know. But I want to be able to get this unit in and out of the bow without having to worry about the hoses. Some of these fittings, 1/2 inch MPT, and then I can use this. I can use this fitting right here. This is a 90, and one of them I will have to use a 90 because I don't have a lot of space. But you can see how you can thread that in. And then you'll be able to take this in and out of the boat. And this is where the bar fitting is going to be. I also have some straight fittings. Also have some straight fittings in the places that I can put. I only have one place here on the bottom that it hits the motor mount, and that's the only place that I have to worry about putting a 90. Everything else I'll be able to do just a straight fitting like this. Then I can put the hose here, I can put a hose clamp, and I don't have to worry about having to fight with a hose or anything like that. I can always remove this anytime I want to. This is aluminum. This is also aluminum. You know, it's really good to not mix metals, or it will help the corrosion. So it's really important to like keep it either aluminum or do plastic, you know. So yeah, I would just put a little bit of liquid Teflon in here. Haven't used this in a while, so it's a little messy. But anyways, just make sure you get it in there really good. That will help lubricate the threads and also help to seal the thread. It's not a glue, so you'll be able to take it out. But I wish these threads were a little bit shorter, but that's all I found. Remember, don't go too crazy. These are all aluminum, so you don't want to damage anything, but basically that's it. That's the idea. Or maybe this one on the top and this one at the bottom. This is what it's going to look like. So see right there, I have to do another one just like this. I have 2 engines, so yeah, just repeat the process and should be good to go. Take your time. So these were the original from here, so I took them off, I took it apart, I sandblasted the whole entire cap, and then I sand it out to be anodized, hard coat anodized. Okay, I mean, they turned out great, so I don't have to worry about any more paint or anything like that. So and then that was the other thing that I had to do. So doing this, and then I can put all this back together. That's how it's going to look. I don't have to worry about this thing corroding and sending paint to the injectors and creating some issue down the road with the engine. So this is, I mean, you can do all this yourself. There's companies out there that will do it for you, but I think it's pretty easy to do. So, and I have the capabilities and the tools, and so it's not that bad. I will put a little bit of grease here to make it easier for us. Small amount of lubricant here in these rings. These are some O-rings, but it's a little bit difficult to get it in there. I mean, it was really hard to get it out, so get this in there. You might have to do one at a time. One first, then the second one. It's not all the way through. Okay, now the second one. Okay, and yeah, you push this. So now, same thing. We want to orientate this to how the pump is going to be powered. These two are going to be for the low pressure pump, and this is going to be for the high pressure pump. High pressure pump is on this side, low pressure pump is on this side. But yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge. Just kind of hit this and just be careful with the cable, but just work it down in there, push it down in there till it goes all the way down. That grease helps a lot. A little bit of lubricant. That's it. Then you gotta put the holder. The holder goes down with this this small little push down, goes against the rubber piece that we just put in there. Then this is the screw. So this is the ground wire. So the ground wire goes on top like this, goes on top of the piece, and then this will hug these cables and you slide it down. Right in there. All right, so as you can see, it's now in place. It's pretty good. Then again, remember, it's a little bit difficult to get this, so you might have to sit this down into the house in here first, because this is the problem about this, that you have to get it in the right place, because if you cover this then you're not going to get any fuel. This have to fall in place. You can see that fall in place right there. So now you can get a pick up the fuel, you know. So this goes like that inside the pump. So there's also a seal for this. Brand new seal for that. Goes in there. It usually stays in place. You don't have to really worry about it, you know, much. Kind of stays in place there as you're putting it together, so you don't have to fight it. These pumps, they have some rubbers. So my recommendation will be to put the rubbers in here, like the seal rubbers. Put them in there. First, both of them. This is the low pressure pump. Remove it from here. Slide it inside there. You can see high pressure, low pressure. You slide it in there. All the way till you can't anymore. And that should be good. Bring the unit forward. It's all nice and clean. We have to make sure we'll put this pump in the correct rotation. It's kind of how it was when I took it apart. Like the opening of the fuel was that way. So it can come in right there. And then you can kind of test this. Yep, feels pretty good. This also, then again here, you have a negative on this side and the positive on this side. I mean, I don't think you can get it mixed up because the head, one is smaller than the other, and I believe this is also smaller. Let me put this inside here. The power, you have one that is a little bit bigger and one that is a little bit smaller. So you can't really mix it up, you know. So, but just be careful with that. So, kind of try to home this. So positive on this side, negative on that side, and high pressure pump over here. Now we slowly start dropping this in place and make sure that we can get everything lined out. Looks like it's okay. I mean, this is very hard to get down. You won't be able to push it all the way down and stay down. You have to kind of use the screws, and the screws will kind of take care the rest of the way. You know, just make sure that the cables are not getting smashed in there or anything like that. And yep, you'll be good to go. So now we're ready to put the screws. But yep. So for the screws, what I've been doing is, I mean, I'm not sure if it calls it or not, but I've been putting a little bit of anti-seize, you know, just because these screws tend to break off inside this piece sometimes, you know, if you leave it there for a long time. So I just kind of want to go ahead and you know, prevent, just as a preventive maintenance in the future. If I want to take it apart, I don't want to take a chance, you know, for the screw to break. So just put a little bit of anti-seize in there. Like I said, just kind of keep an eye on on the seal as you go in, as you installing it, but the seal is still in place. So, but it's always good to look. Then I'll just do a little bit at a time on each side to bring it down as even as possible. Okay, that's pretty much it here. So the top unit is put together. Now we can do this right here. Same thing. I will put a little bit of lubrication here, as this is just anodized and it's really dry there, you know, and this I want to be able to move it around. It's just to lubricate those O-rings a little bit. I don't want to have like grease or lubricant floating inside there. This is just to help us out get the unit in place. There we go. She's in there now. Okay, so all the pumps are finished. Now we can assemble the filter. I already have cleaned everything out of the filter there, so this is the new, or the old filter, I should say, the old filter. I put that filter in there this year, so it's not very old. Pretty much the beginning of summer. But since I've done all this work, might as well go ahead and replace everything. So let me make sure all this is clean in here. That looks good. Grab the new filter, install it in there. This is the filter that goes all the way on the bottom. Just grab that with needle nose, push it all the way down, straight. It's good. And now you have the seals. So what I'm going to do to make it easier to push this inside, you know, just put a little bit of lubricant also. Just to make it a little bit easier. Alright. So that one goes in there. You have to put it right on top of that groove. Alright, so that's that. Install it in here. I always like to put a little bit more on this one. Once I install it, I like to put a little bit here, just so I can push this inside a little bit easier. Alright, so now we lock this in place, and that's it. Before we put the filter in there, we have to fill this up with fuel. Fill it up about halfway here. It's going to take some time, and some of this fuel is going to go on this side. It might take a little bit of time just because the new filter that we put on there. You have to be careful. For you overfill, when you put the filter housing in here, fuel will come out of here. So just have a little bowl or something. Drop the housing in there. Yeah, you can see here how it's coming out. I'm covering to see if it goes also inside of the filter. Yep. That's pretty much it. Close this evenly so you can have a nice seal. With a little bit of lubricant that I put in there will help it for that seal to go smoothly in there. This is pretty big. It's very nice and thick, so it's going to create a nice seal. Good. So now what we have left is to put the plug, and the red goes on the B, and with the opening, with these openings towards the clip. So the red goes on the B. The black cable goes on the A. That's good, and then we can put the locking so the cable don't back up. All right, that's it. It's finished. So now I have two new, basically, put a little bit out. Two new units to install. So it's good to go.